Oh, the directions?
Just the directions, so yeah. So this is gonna be a clue, because this is from this side over here, so we're just using it as a clue. So we're coming over here, I'm just gonna leave that out. This is gonna, we're gonna take this out of the way. Again, we're gonna go do a diagonal part. We're gonna cross the street here. Okay, and so then that's gonna give us our clue about where we're gonna be. Okay. Then we're gonna take another diagonal section. Here like this. Come around this way. And one thing about Robert, you know, sometimes he looks like he works really fast, you know, and he's just kind of like ripping through the hair. But, you know, he's a very disciplined comber. You know, he's always making sure that that hair is going in the right direction. You know, and I'm using the tight end of my comb so that I'm really getting. Hi everybody, what, you guys are getting busy over here in the middle of the afternoon, right?
The Mexican restaurant.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
always jamming over there.
Monday night, is it margarita night? Hey, it doesn't hurt to be open on sometimes.
Yeah.
I used to work,
Oh,
my
yeah.
first job was at Supercuts downtown Walnut Creek. And we had a round table pizza. And then there was also a burger place. Oh, they had such amazing burgers. And people would go there and get drunk first, which is unfortunate because they would come over and want haircuts after they've been drinking. And these two guys came in one night and they were buddies, you know, they were buddies. And they're like, give us the same haircut. One was kind of bald up here and the other one had a thick hair, you know. And we were like, okay, you know. And, you know, they both wanted, back in the 80s, there was that one where it was like shaved underneath here and then it went to a V in the back. And all the guys wanted a perfect V shaved into the back of their head. It was really bad. It was really bad. So there's our other side done. Hey, what do you think? Perfect. See, she still has her hair underneath there. So just when we pull it down like that, you can see how soft those soft layers, and it can really just go move around like that. Same way on this side. Just kind of how it moves, you can see that it's going to move in the same kind of fashion. And then we can clean up the length actually later. I'm not going to really worry about that right now. And then how are we going to cut the back? Well, she doesn't have any shape at all. So we're going to create a little bit of shape back here, but keeping the length, okay? And I'm going to take it out of our, she just has so much hair, it's so much easier. And then we're going to take the bottom half and we're just going to go straight across like that. And it is important to have clean lines. When we talk about having clean lines, it's on the head shape. We're creating a shape on a shape. And you know, when we're in school, we're doing all these things, and we're trying to understand why are we doing these things. And it's really, really hard. In salon reality, it is important because like we just get into bad habits. So they're really training you to have good habits. One habit to have is just really combing out the hair and having clean lines to see where you've been and where you're going. And an easy way to separate the bottom from the top is create a line down the middle. And then this is where the occipital is. And then just slightly below that, that's where we're going to take it and we're going to move straight across to the ear. And I think if we take haircuts, you know, apart, and you could use this front on anybody. You know, you could really like go, okay, I'm going to use that technique on the bangs on the front here. It's the same technique as if you're going to do a side bang. If you think about it, like I'm bringing everything over to this point, it's gonna be shorter to longer. Cool? This is what I'm looking for. Right here. My 2 clips. My 2 clips. So a lot of hair cutting, like before I took any Paul Mitchell hair cutting classes, I just kind of did everything by feel and how it looked. You know, I didn't take a lot of hair cutting classes because, you know, I just never felt I was struggling with those things, you know. But when you start learning, you know, the right way to do something, you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right.
I have no idea. Body position. But it makes sense now, especially when you're pushing hair frontwards to backwards, which means like if I'm cutting it here and I cut this the shortest part and everything's directed over here, that short hair is pushing, literally pushing all that long hair away from it, because the short hair is always going to support the longer hair. That's why when you cut bangs and they're shorter over here, they swing this way, because you cut it that way. You know, hair goes, why does it bulk up right here? Because you probably missed a spot.
Right.
And the reason why we keep hair wet when we're cutting is for control. I try to make everything very simple, and I try not to overcomplicate things, because it's real easy to do that. So my fingers are gonna be pointed at her head, or above, or wherever I feel like. Okay, so one thing, because this is underneath here, we gotta be really, really careful, because we could take it too short. You know, but this is her longest length right here. So we're really gonna we're gonna have some of that hair fall out, and we're gonna elevate it slightly, because we're gonna create some longer layers, okay? So they're not gonna be anywhere above her shoulders, they're gonna be all below her shoulders. Does that make sense? So I'm gonna bring this up, and so it's gonna be from shorter to longer.
Is that called a concave?
Yes, this is called a concave because you're cutting like, almost like caving it out. That's the way I'd like to think of it as.
Okay, good.
And so like this is gonna be shorter here to longer, okay?
Would it be okay to say anything above 90 degrees you're gonna start
Yeah,
to cut
that's-
concave?
Naturally,
Naturally.
yeah.
Yes.
And so I'm bringing everything above. If I was gonna do this, if I pulled everything out and I just like cut it straight down like this, I would be actually, what would I be doing? Making it harder on myself, you know, making a bad line, so it would probably feel bumpy. And that's what happens, like a lot of times people do this. They get this great line in it, they're like, yeah, look at that, it's so nice, I got my elbow up, I see my guide, and they go like this.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's not what we're gonna do today, okay? We're gonna take a bit of our guide, okay? Because we're really gonna keep this haircut consistent, because we really want those layers to be consistent along the bottom. We wanna see a difference. So we're gonna bring that up, bring my elbow up. Can't even see my guide. What happens when you can't see your guide?
Oh, I go crazy.
Yeah, you go crazy. I'm going crazy. And since she's a little bit thinner through the sides through here, I'm actually just gonna bring everything to the center. See, there we go. There's my guide. Whoa. I bet you don't see that often. It's
Every
totally-
day. No.
And I think it's just real important to keep that all very, very organized. Okay, bring it up like that. Shorter to longer, all the way. Because I'm gonna run out of hair. And so I'm gonna really keep, so I'm not gonna cut a hole through here. Because if I come around through here, I could just like cut too many layers off through there. Okay. It's like almost I'm creating a clean, there we go. Keeping the length, and the elbow, my elbow up is gonna help keep that length. Cause if I go like this, my tendency is gonna cut like that. That's not what we're doing. We're cutting this. So when we look at it now, we're just creating a nice little layer like right at the bottom, taking away some of that weight. And when we see this, it's gonna like
Blend.
it's gonna blend. And we can blend a little bit more later. Cause I think when do you see how much thinner though it gets like right
Yeah.
around through here? So if I went around there, I might just be creating it thinner, but we wanna
Right.
create a balanced look. And that's something that when you start realizing about hair patterns and things like that, you just have to take those things into consideration when you're constructing a haircut. Bring my elbow up, there's my guide, cut to my guide, all the way up, stretch, stretch. I think this is one of the most helpful haircuts because it's one of the ones that we do most often in the salon, you know? We're really like long layers and a trim, you know? Consistency, and now you can already see that just feels better, you know, around the bottom. So then we're gonna take the middle part, we're gonna take this into another third, right off that occipital right there. Clip that out of the way. We also wanna make sure, one thing I wanna do before we go on, we just wanna make sure that those layers are sitting where we want. So I'm gonna take like a horizontal section, parallel to the floor, and I'm gonna check that layer all the way through. Yeah, look at that.
Beautiful.
Clean that up a little bit. There we go. So it should slightly go longer towards the edges. Okay. Good. And I'm gonna show you how to style her hair today with a comb. Because a lot of times when we're doing like really, really smooth haircuts, we spend a lot of time trying to smooth it out, and we're gonna have a lot better luck, you know, just using a comb and moving through that hair. So then we're gonna take the middle section through here. My fingers are gonna change. I'm gonna come down out like this, because I still wanna have like total control. And I can make a choice here. I can continue going up this way, you know, with my fingers if I'm gonna like create more of a concave layer, or I can give her a little bit more volume and have a slight disconnection so she has a little bit more interesting look. That's what I'm gonna choose to do today. So it's gonna be slightly disconnected, not like this. It's not gonna be like this. It's gonna be slight. And I'm gonna show you that because she's gonna have a lot more movement, because right now there's nothing going on here. So we can see this is where the bottom length is, where we created it before. And so we can have it slightly. I'm just gonna bring that up a little bit like that, because I really wanna see some, yeah, see all that? Do we need that? No. So those layers are gonna fall out, see that? I'm just gonna cut that straight up like that. Just slightly. A lot of times we're used to having everything match so perfectly. This is gonna give her a little bit more movement because again, that shorter hair is gonna push that longer hair. Even if it's slight, let's see, it's gonna come up above that a little bit, pop it up. Take a little bit of my previous guide, move through the hair and just comb that out of the way. A lot of times, I think when I've gotten haircuts in the past from people, you know, or even given them myself, you know, we think moving through the hair, you know, you see people just like moving through haircuts. That doesn't mean that they're better, you know, it just means that they're fixing a lot more of their mistakes, you know.
Yeah.
So I would rather spend more time right now in my guide. And her hair is pretty fine, pretty much, that's why I can take larger sections all the way to the end through there. So you can see there's my guide. And you know, I'm combing the hair I haven't cut. Bringing that up and out. And it's much more comfortable with my hand being like this. If I was going like this, I'd be like, see how I'd be cutting? Like right now, this is much more comfortable. So we're always thinking of our body position. I'm just gonna take my sweatshirt off because I'm a little bit, no I can't, I forgot. I'll tell you in a minute.
We can turn the fans on if you